Welcome to Lift Off with Energizing Results, the podcast that can help you become a better partner in your family and a self-propelled leader with inner certainty in your business. Now, here's your host, Uwe Dockhorn.
Welcome to Lift Off with Energizing Results. Let me start with an invitation for you before we dive in. This is a safe and neutral space here. The more open and honest you answer the questions that will come up to yourself, the more effective this will be for you. Sound good? Okay, here we go. Today I'm very excited to introduce you to Eve Simon. How are you doing, Eve, and where are you hanging out right now?
Well, Uwe, thank you so much for having me. I just returned from California to my now also sunny home here in Düsseldorf, Germany.
Oh, excellent. German by nature, Californian by heart. That promises an unusual approach in all she does. Eve Simon, a transformational consultant, executive coach, TEDx speaker, best-selling author, and serial entrepreneur, burns for inclusion, sustainability, and innovative solutions. I think your mission of Moms Lead Change, the key narrative for future evolution, is remarkable, Eve. And Eve and I met before. And we already had so much alignment in our values. So I'm very thankful I can talk to you today, Eve.
Me too. I'm very excited to meet someone like you who is so inspired by bringing a new perspective into the notion of leadership.
Enough about me. Let's talk about you. But thank you. I appreciate it. So, Eve, the first thing I want to know is who's your ideal client and what's the biggest challenge they face?
Yeah, usually I work with leaders, executives, and corporations all around the world. Fortune 500 to mid-sized companies, but also some startups. And what they all have in common, they have a lot of requirements on their plate. And often you don't see a new narrative. You don't see really the horizon anymore. And as my business is called Inspiration Without Borders, I really help them to find focus again, to understand also what's new, because we all talk about agility today, about new work, but what does that really mean? So before that they are burning out, I help them to really burn for what they are doing. They create good teams who love to work together, no matter if they are remote or not. Also have an impact because leaders are not just doing operational business. They are usually very passionate about what they do and what they also create for society.
I hear you. So, and connecting all these dots and regarding innovation is a true challenge in that regard. So, and because innovation requires, kind of like pioneering to some extent, what are common mistakes, your clients typically make when trying to solve that kind of problem?
It really depends on who I talk to and where they're located. But what I see here in the German market as an example, that agility is more seen as a method and not so much as a mindset. That is clearly not the case in Silicon Valley, where I also reside, but we need to break through that and not just work transactional. You have to do this to get this result, but open the mindset, think more in scenarios, be open to adjust really much faster. And also to see how the dots are connected. So if you talk about innovation, it's really not just about the new products and new service going more into convenience, but also what kind of product I really create or service for a more sustainable outcome. And I think this is really important, and this is where we work together. And there's always a component of inner and outer leadership. So instead of just being driven from outer circumstances, first understand who you are as a person. What are your biases? What are your triggers? What are your barriers? But also, what is your purpose as an example? Where do you want to drive? What's your vision? And then we connect that with your inner way of being, like an inner compass, with the outer world you are operating in. So understanding their context, looking beyond what is there, so you can run more in sync with your own energy and with the energy and the circumstances from the outer world. And then they can adapt this also to their teams and their people around them.
Very, very insightful that what you just shared, and it's true. I like the analogy of the compass. So that's kind of like helps us to guide through all these ups and downs, and kind of like connecting the dots and staying on course, so to speak. And also you're kind of like the perspective that you have, kind of like for the German market and also for Silicon Valley. So I think these parallels, insights are super helpful for your clients. And so before I ask Eve, what is one valuable free action that our audience can easily implement? Let me quickly say something here to our audience. If you're enjoying the show so far, please rate and recommend us to someone you think could benefit from the show. Thank you in advance for spreading the word. So Eve, what is one valuable free action that our audience can implement that will help with that kind of issue?
I think there is a lot out there, but when I look back, first of all, always a question for an app. I think the Insight Timer is really crucial, because it all starts with us. We have to raise our inner growth and our consciousness to see different things, to shift perspectives. And the Insight Timer is a free resource. You can download tons of courses and listen to meditation. So you increase your ability, not just of being mindful, but also increase your ability of a total intelligence approach. What happens spiritually, what happens with your body, and so on. But then I'm always coming back to nature. And this is actually what brought me to what you mentioned at the beginning, working with so many leaders around the globe who are usually male. I'm always missing a word and a mindset there. And that is more the spirit of a mother. So connecting to Mother Earth, whatever that is, taking a walk in the forest, touching a tree, really understanding the approach more, that we are so interconnected, that our behaviors, our actions have an impact all around the globe, and probably also into the universe, as we know, then understanding, right, what nature ticks, how mothers tick, to bring in more, I call this a regenerative leadership. And I think this is extremely valuable. And obviously, there's also, if you go on the website, Purpose Book, there's resources around how you find your purpose, and that helps you also to find your inner compass.
No, excellent advice here. Thank you for sharing these wonderful resources. Of course, we'll put the links in the show description. And I think it's a good reminder to stay connected to Mother Nature, as you just stated. And it's like, leadership, and we all essentially are embedded in Mother Nature to some extent. And it would be kind of like foolish not to take advantage of that and reconnect with that, asset that we all share. Of course, we are doing a lot against, the future of that. But it's always good to start from yourself, as you mentioned also earlier. Start within, and leaders need to be aware about this other aspect. And I would like to explore this a little bit more. So, my next question, because but also, if you want to share also where folks can get in touch with you, please feel free to share this here.
Yes, of course. You find me on LinkedIn. That's always the easiest. Eve Simon, very easy. But otherwise, shoot me an email at eve@ladies-lead.com.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so what's the one question I should have asked you that would be of great value to our audience?
very interesting question. But what I would rephrase it and say the question many people should ask is if agility is really our solution for all the challenges we are facing right now. And this is a little bit what I see in corporate. Oh, we just have to go faster, right? We have to be more progressive. We have to scale faster. And I believe, and this comes back to the initiative which I started last year with Moms Who Lead, which provides a huge library of the leadership mothers around the globe, how to really incorporate this more a careformance than a performance. We are still going very much into performance orientation. And I believe if we care more for ourselves, for our teams, for our companies, for the planet, we make better decisions. We ask better questions. And so for me, the question probably would be is instead of just, is agility everything? I would say right now, what we also need is a mindset of this regenerative leadership. What resources do we have and which we need to build to get more into a cycle? We talk about circular economy, but we don't really adopt that concept into the way how we work, the way how we live, the way how we lead, and our products in many ways. So I think that is really the biggest question we have to all ask ourselves right now. How can we become this regenerative leader in life and in business? And to this regard, I think mothers already intrinsically live this way. They have a lot of expertise. They are great in managing a lot of different things when you go there into detail, but that's another conversation. But really, they have intrinsically that mindset already for next generation and for 7 generations, really, to think about what is good for a decision we have to make right now.
And I love this. It's wonderful. We're already seeing these indicators more and more, if you walk around with open eyes, obviously, of that influence of, I love the term careformance instead of performance. I love that. And it's well put. It's really kind of like a very good reminder for us to, not only take care of ourselves, but also care about, where we're going and how we are going to get there. And the agility is one piece. It can be a method, but it should be also the mindset, as you stated earlier. So I love how you bring all these innovative structures together and make it flow. So thank you for sharing. And this brings me already to my final question, and it's a personal one. When was the last time you experienced goosebumps with your family and why?
Okay. I, of course, thought about this question beforehand, and I thought definitely every time I'm in California and I go out into nature, it gives me goosebumps. I just love being there. I think it's just coming out of me. But then also, my daughter just started her 2nd chapter of school. She started in gymnasium, and the moment we were in church and they were all kind of blessed into this new chapter, like a rite of passage ritual, that gave me a total goosebumps. And I think we have goosebumps many times. So yesterday I had a goosebumps because I'm looking for a really cool tech virtual assistant who helps me to go to the next step to provide the moms lead interviews and the living library even easier and better. And she came from the Philippines and she was so on fire. And I just loved that connection around the world and the spirit. So that gives me goosebumps too, as I love to create.
It gives me goosebumps talking to you. So thank you very much, Eve. What a wonderful goosebumps moment shared here. And also thank you for our conversation. It was a pleasure talking to you and appreciate very much the knowledge and insights you share with us today.
Thank you so much, Uwe. I look forward to our next conversation.
Yeah, me too. Thank you for listening. And as always, energizing results to you and your loved ones.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and recommend on Apple Podcast, Overcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also get more great information at uvedockhorn.com.